do, and welcome to Talking Paranormal with the Old Man. And as usual, I am the old man. Every day, man, I feel my age every freaking day. Like yesterday, I was starting the shower and I'm, bending over, making sure, the water's not too hot. And I turned my neck and I got like a kink in my neck, man, just from doing that. So, anyways, welcome again. We are on this podcast, I talk anything and everything about the paranormal, and talked about a couple of weeks ago about our trip to Randolph County Asylum, which we want to go back to because it was freaking cool. All right, so today we are continuing our journey across the U.S. of A. We are going to go today to Massachusetts. Yes, we're doing alphabetical order. Now, this is not the only list, not the definitive list, and it's not anyone's list. This is just, in this case, the top 9 most haunted places in Massachusetts. Again, that's up for debate, right? What I consider to be haunted, someone else might not be considered haunted. So, yeah. So, we're getting our list today from Haunted Rooms Co., one of my favorite sites to get this information. So we have 9 to get into. So why don't we just start right off the bat? So when it comes to the paranormal, it seems like Massachusetts has a little something for everyone. From creepy haunted asylums, ooh, I do like asylums, and cursed forests to famous murder scenes. I wonder where the famous murder scene is at. Huh. Does anything come to mind? Huh. No, not off the top of my head. But I did find my axe yesterday. Yep. And I gave a tree like 40 whacks because it wouldn't come down. So yeah, but I wonder where that house is. Hmm. I'm not entirely for sure. Okay, so number 9. And saying I am assuming that it's a house. It could not be a house. I'm just assuming. So now let's take a closer look at the most haunted places in Massachusetts. Number 9 is in Freetown or Freeton, probably Freetown, I would assume. Fall River State Forest in Anonet, Acid. How the hell you say that? Assinet, a sonnet. Let's go with a sonnet. So Freetown Fall River State Forest is better known locally as the Cursed Forest of Massachusetts. I wish my soundboard had that where I could change the sound, and I'm sure it does, but then I wouldn't know how to get it back. So I'll work on that. So it is a strange place with hundreds of weird stories linked to it. Among the eyewitnesses, okay, it's not urban legend here, have been claims of UFOs, okay, ghosts, mysterious lights. No, excuse my French. Fuck this. Giant snakes. Uh-uh. I don't like spiders or snakes or rats or mice. Yeah, no thank you. Murders, disappearances, human and animal sacrifices. Okay, I don't mind if you sacrifice humans, but don't touch the animals, okay? They did nothing to you. Poltergeist, and I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Please don't, blow up my comments here. I'm kidding. Poltergeist and more. This really is one of the most haunted places in the state, not to mention one of the most bizarre. All right, that was pretty lame, to be honest with you. So number 8 is Dogtown, Cape Ann. In 1693, Dogtown was established as a very respectable settlement. However, somewhere along the way, it gained itself a very, very bad reputation. And by the early 1800s, Dogtown was all but abandoned with only vagabonds and feral dogs calling it home. That's how it got to be called Dogtown, right? Feral dogs? Yeah, buddy. After the years passed, there were growing rumors that the residents of Dogtown, which is basically dogs, had been practicing witchcraft. Ooh, that's not good, people. It was believed that Tammy Younger, aka Queen of the Witches, was placing curses on traders who stayed or who strayed too close to their town. These rumors were supposed or supported by the fact that some strange words and phrases are carved into boulders around the town boundaries. Now, what? See, this is what cracks me up. Do you remember in 2012, I think it was it the Aztecs or the Mayans? Their calendar stopped like on December 31st. So everyone's thinking, okay, that's the end of the world. Shit's gonna happen. The world as we know it is gone. Okay. But who's to say that some dude was not, making up this calendar? Okay. And his wife said, "Come on, we're going to see my mom, and he's like, "Oh, do I really have to? Stop doing that calendar. You can go back to it later." And he doesn't get back to it, right? So that's why the calendar stopped on that day. They were going over to her mom's house for New Year's Eve celebration, and he didn't get back to it. I just find that totally funny. We don't know why the Mayan or Aztecs. Well, you know what? Here, hold on a second. Let me do so. Mayan calendar. Yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the Mayans. So it was December 21st. My bad. 2012 did not mark the end of the world. Instead, it signified the completion of a major 5,125-year cycle in the ancient Mayan long count calendar, after which the timekeeping system simply reset to zero and begin a new cycle. I like my story better about going to the in-laws, and it was on his honey to-do list, but he just did not get to it. I like that story better. But anyway, so yeah, so it simply reset to zero. There you go. Mystery solved. Dang. I should be a private investigator, seriously. I figured this out in like 2 minutes, man. Okay, so these days, the remains of Dogtown are open to hikers, and although the witches themselves are long gone, or are they? Many say that the surrounding woods remain cursed, and there have been many unexplained occurrences reported. Yeah, whatever. Number seven. Remember what I said? Spiders and snakes. Number seven. Spidergate Cemetery. Leicester? Leicester? Let's go with Leicester. I don't know how to freaking say that. So Spidergate Cemetery gets its name from the distinctive design on the gates. Ooh, but of course, there's no pictures. However, it has been known as Quaker Cemetery and the Old Eighth Gate to Hell. I like the Eighth Gate to Hell better than I do Spider's Gate. The burial ground has been in use since 1740. Holy shit. And local legends state that it is a gate to another dimension. So, among the creepy tales linked to the burial ground is the story of a young boy who hanged. See, here, I've gotten into this debate before with myself. So, it's a story of a young boy who hanged himself. Wouldn't it be hung? Wouldn't it be the? And I'm not making fun that supposedly a young boy, did this to himself. But wouldn't it be he hung himself and not hanged himself in the trees? Because I would think it would be hung. Okay, well, you know what? Screw it, okay? Which do you use? Hanged? Did it say hanged? I think it was hanged or hung himself. I'm curious. Inquiry minds. All right. Okay, so here is in standard English grammar, the distinction between hanged and hung depends on the content, okay? Hanged is the specific past tense and past participle. I never understood that shit in school. I had say like senior lit. Well, I had like 4 years of lit classes, literature classes. We called it not in our high school lit. So we had freshman lit, sophomore lit, senior lit, and junior lit. Well, juniors first and then senior, is the specific past tense and past participles. Mr. Sayers was my English teacher. He would correct you in class. I used to hate that shit. Used when referring to death by hanging. Okay, such as historical contents or legal executions. Okay, hung is the standard past tense used for all other meanings of the verb, primarily referring to objects or items being suspended. The mirror was hung. Okay, okay. While hung is increasingly used in informal speech regardless of the content, hanged remains the technically correct term in former writing when referring to a loss of life. Okay, all right. I don't agree with this. It sounds much better that he hung himself. He didn't hang himself. But anyways, again, I'm not making light. So again, don't blow up the comments, please. I'm not making light of the situation. So yeah, so I guess technically in this case it would be hanged himself in the trees. But here's again, I'm coming back here. Is so they say that a young boy hanged himself. Okay, so have they seen an apparition of a boy? You know what I'm saying? They say that among the creepy tales linked, see, I overanalyze this, and I know that I do, that's just me. So among the creepy tales linked to the burial ground is a story of a young boy who hanged himself in the trees. Okay, so why does that have relevance to this story? You don't say he has been seen roaming the cemetery. He has been seen by this tree. So I think that's kind of a stupid sentence, to be honest with you, because they don't what's that word, when they, it'll come to me like today when I'm driving. Oh, that's that word I was trying to think of. It's not relevant to the story, I guess, or no, they don't elaborate. There we go, elaborate. They don't elaborate on that. They just say he hung himself, or so, I'm sorry, he hanged himself in the trees, but they don't elaborate to say he's been seen. So yeah, that is irrelevant to the paragraph. Anyways, rant over for now. Ghostly sightings, strange noises, and evidence that satanic rituals were conducted on a strange stone known as the altar. Okay, but what evidence? Animal bones, carvings of a pentagram. See, you haunted rooms, Cole. You're starting to like disappoint me here, guys. I need more than this. I need more. You're starting to fail me, and I don't like that. I might have to go someplace else and find my information. Haunted rooms, Cole. That's kind of lame. So number 6 is the Taunton State Hospital in Taunton. That's kind of cool. I like that little bridge walkway there. That is kind of cool. Okay, so and we will do Taunton State Hospital, or the State Lunatic Hospital at Taunton, as it was formerly known. State Lunatic Hospital, come on, was abandoned in, oh, excuse me, 1975. In the 1800s, there were rumors that the hospital was being operated by a satanic cult. Come on, really? Who would take patients into the basements to conduct dark rituals and even human sacrifices. Now, again, if you do satanic cults, you're pretty much going to be sacrificed, right? I don't think they're going to do rituals and keep you alive so you can go and run to the police and say, hey, these people did things to me. No, I don't think so. They're going to get rid of any witnesses. So anyways, these are apparently still some strange and unexplained marking from it. There are apparently, so you ain't been there, haunted rooms, Cole. See, that's the difference. Okay, that's the difference between when I write a book, and I have written a few books, if you're not aware, between me writing books and this room, haunted rooms, Cole. Everything that I write about, I experienced. So I'm not doing third people stories. I'm not doing, there are evidence. I will tell you what the freak it is, because I've been there. I don't write about places I have not been to. Okay, so there are apparently still some strange and unexplained markings on the walls of the basements. Have you seen the episode of Supernatural, the TV show Supernatural? And I'm trying to think which. Oh, it was the one where Sam and Dean. It was in the earlier episodes, and I don't know which one was off the top of my head. Where they were investigating this house where this dude supposedly killed his family, but then people were like going online and they were writing stories, and then that story came true. Well, when it says that there are unexplained, symbols and markings and all that kind of stuff, who's to say that that teenagers weren't going there and putting like the hook from Blue Oyster Cult on one of their records, or they were putting symbols from, I don't know, fucking Prince, I don't know, just off the top of my head, or the Queensryche symbol or Motley Crue's pentagram. You know what I'm saying? It could be anybody, and that's why you have to research. And I know I'm ranting today, but you have to research your stuff. Just to say there were some strange and unexplained markings. Well, what were they? Research them. God. Okay. Rant over for now. And while the hospital was still open, staff would attempt to go downstairs into the basement area, only for them to feel something physically stopping them from reaching that bottom step. Yeah, it's called nerves. They were wimps. Staff also reported seeing a shadow man. See now, this is a little bit different, but actually telling you what they see. A shadow man who would crawl along the walls. Fuck that. They had something like that in Waverly Hills. They call it the elemental. Crawled on the walls. And supposedly, Randolph County Asylum that we were at has something similar. We didn't see it, but I did get something on video though. You can see it's an apparition, but he or she, I'm not sexist, is very faint. So I'm gonna have to do some editing, not editing as in, making a fake or anything, but I have to do some editing to like adjust the contrast, adjust the brightness, because there is something there. It's just, and then at the very end, you can kind of see two legs walking. Seriously, seriously, I ain't BSing here. So yeah, so hopefully I can get that straightened out. So the oh shit. I'm sorry, I'm reading ahead. So, anyways, the shadow man would crawl on the walls and often lurked in corners watching the patients. Okay, that's not what I was oh shitting about. This is what I'm oh shitting about. The most famous. I have the hiccups. I'm sorry. I had some orange juice this morning, and it's giving me the hiccups. The most famous resident of Taunton State Hospital was probably serial killer Jane Topin, who killed more than 31 people while working as a nurse. I actually read about that, actually. I did not know that it was at the Taunton State Hospital. So it is no wonder this abandoned hospital is thought to be one of the most haunted places in the U.S. It's kind of cool. So number 5 is the Colonial Inn in Concord. It says Colonial Inn, 1716, Concord. The Concord Inn restaurants. Okay. See, that looks like a proper colonial inn. It does. The building that houses the colonial inn was originally built in 1716, but it only started, wait a minute. So it only started operating as a hotel in 1889. So that's what, 173 years? Really? So, if the colonial inn, again, this is me overthinking shit. If the Colonial Inn was originally built in 1716, and then 173 years later, it was a hotel. So what was it for what, easy for me to say. So what was it for those 173 years? Was it a bar or a pub? Huh, interesting. Because that's a long time before it became a hotel. It is now listed on the National Register of Historic Places and considered here we go, one of the most haunted places in Massachusetts. Room 24 of the inn is a focal point of the paranormal activity in the hotel. In 1966, a pair of newlyweds stayed in the room And the following morning, they left quickly with the bride looking very pale. Yeah, because they were up all night. It's their wedding night. Hello, McFly. But see, here again though, you tease us, you tease us by saying that they stayed in the room and then the following morning that they left quickly. What the fuck happened? Like seriously, haunted rooms cold. You need to up your game, boys. You need to up your game. That is lame. You reel us in, but you don't tell us information. Jeez, oh pizza, man. A few weeks later, the hotel. Oh. I stand corrected. Well, I don't stand corrected, but I stand corrected. A few weeks later, I see I should have read ahead before I slammed haunted rooms cold. A few weeks later, the hotel was sent a letter. Well, why not email? You can, oh, that was in 66. Never mind. From her explaining that she had woken to find a gray figure standing by her bed. Similar reports have been made ever since. Oh, just because she was there standing by her bed, that don't mean nothing. So number 4 is the Houghton Mansion in North Adams. Oh, that's kind of cool. So anyways, most of the, almost say one of the most well-known ghosts linked to Houghton Mansion is Mary, a girl thought to be the daughter of the original owner, order, owner, Albert Houghton, who died in a car accident in August of 1914. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, this don't make any sense. So one of the most well-known ghosts, okay, is Mary. And I know I just read this, but I'm trying to make sense of this. It is a girl thought to be the daughter of the original owner, Albert Houghton, who died. Okay, he died in a car crash. Okay. Mary had dedicated herself to looking after her father. Okay, I get it. So I was thinking before I read that she was taking care of him after the car accident, but he died. So I'm like, how the fuck is she taking care of him if he died? See that, and that's why it's important to read the whole story, I guess, because the very next paragraph it says Mary had dedicated herself to looking after her father, and upon learning that both Mary, wait a minute, wait, okay, I am lost. Okay, I am lost again, dudes. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, I'm reading. Okay. And if you guys were following along with this, okay, I thought that Mary, but Albert is the, no, Mary is the one who died, not Albert. Oh, okay, now it makes sense. And I'm sure that you guys are thinking the same thing because I'm thinking the same thing. Because it says, okay, Mary, a girl thought to be the daughter of the original owner, Albert Houghton, who died in a car accident. Okay, see, I thought Albert, the dad, had died. So that's why it confused me. Okay, it's becoming a little bit more clearer now. So Mary had, like I said, dedicated herself to looking after her father, and upon learning that both Mary and a trusted servant, Mrs. Hutton, had died in the accident, he was unable to forgive himself. Well, yeah, but forgive himself for what? Unless they were going to the store to pick him up some cigarettes and that's why they died, then you could feel guilty. And ended up shooting himself in the basement of the house the following day. The mansion is now a Masonic temple. Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, that clarifies information. There have been various ghostly tales linked to the building over the years. For example, one of the masons says that he and his wife were in the records room when they both heard the sound of papers being shuffled. They looked around, but no one else was in the room. As the sound got louder, the two, edit your shit. It's supposed to be the two fled the building, but they have it as TOW. They mixed around the W and the O. Edit your stuff. Fled the building in fright. On one other occasion, two masons were sitting in the building when the side door opened and shut, with both hearing the distinct sound of it. But did you go in and investigate? I don't think so. There were about 2 feet of snow on the ground that night, and after the door was heard to close, it was as though they were someone stomping their feet to knock out the snow. Okay, but here's the thing though, is that if the spirit that was doing this, just because there's snow on the ground now, does not mean there was snow on the ground when the spirit was doing what he did. So that's what people don't understand about the paranormal. Okay, is okay. There's 2 feet of snow on the ground right now, but was there when this happened? It wouldn't matter because the spirit would not see the snow. If the snow was not there when the spirit was there doing the stomping feet shit, he ain't gonna do it or she ain't gonna do it. Okay. However, on investigating the noises, they found no one in the room, no one outside, and no footprints in the snow. Yeah, because yeah, like what I just said, if there was not any snow, the spirit would not be doing that. Okay, so number three is the Danvers State Hospital in Danvers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a classic freaking movie called Grave Encounters. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's cool. It's about a paranormal team. They go to a abandoned state hospital. I think they named it Danvers. I'm pretty sure. Here, again, let me look. What hospital was used in Grave Encounters? Oh no. I'm sorry. It was okay. Yes. Grave Encounters was 2011. Okay, it was filmed at the abandoned Riverview Hospital in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. So in the movie, it was called the Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital. So it was not this one. But anyways, yeah, if you get a chance to see Grave Encounters, I recommend it. It pokes fun at Zach. Any movie that pokes fun at Zach, I like immediately. And this is a very cool hospital, the Danvers State Hospital. Is said to have been the real life inspiration for H.P. Lovecraft's Arkham Sanatorium. This place looks amazing. How would you not get lost in that shit? Seriously. So when the hospital was opened, I'm sorry, when the hospital was opened, American physician Walter Jackson Freeman II carried out a number of lobotomies, and a small number of patients did see some slight benefits, but most had adverse reactions or effects, and visitors would often report seeing patients aimlessly wandering the halls or simply staring at blank walls. Now, wasn't one of the Kennedys, wasn't it Rose Kennedy, had that done to her in the 40s, and she was not the same after that. At least I think it was Rose. Well, fuck. Let's look, right? Let's look. What Kennedy had a lobotomy. You come here, okay? You come here to learn about the paranormal, but you're learning a lot of history stuff here too, guys. Seriously, you are. Okay. Rosemary. Rosemary, the eldest daughter of Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, was a child who underwent a lobotomy. So the procedure in 41, at age 23, her father ordered at the time, experimental prefrontal lobotomy without informing her mother. Oh, can you imagine that shit? Can you imagine that shit? Come on, honey, we're going, but don't tell your mom. Oh, shit. So the outcome, the surgery failed, leaving Rosemary permanently incapacitated. That's a big word first thing in the morning, with limited motor and speaking skills. Aftermath, she was hidden away for decades, spending the rest of her life in an institution in Wisconsin, which inspired her sister, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, to create the Special Olympics. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. The reason, her father reportedly feared her mood swings and erratic behavior, often described as intellectual disability, would bring scandal to the family, specifically with the rise of their political careers. So there you have it. There you have it. Stuff I did not know either. Yeah, buddy. So in short, there was a great deal of pain and suffering. I'm back to the paranormal here. And the patients were subjected to some brutal conditions, so it is really no surprise that Danvers State Hospital is considered to be one of the most haunted places in Massachusetts. Apparitions of former patients who died at the hospital are fairly common in the building and the grounds. The entire place seems to be shrouded in very eerie atmosphere. It is usually guarded well to stop would-be ghost hunters from breaking in, and to date, just one group has ever been. Now, probably, I would assume it's probably fucking Zach. Just one group has ever been granted access to the hospital for paranormal investigation outside. Outside of the television shows that have. Wait. Is usually guarded well to stop would-be ghost hunters from breaking in, and to date, just one group has ever been granted access to the hospital for a paranormal investigation outside of the television shows that have featured it. Oh, okay. So of course the TV shows, because they have clout and money, have been there, but only one other outside group. Okay, that was not on TV. Okay, but what group is it? See, can you guys specify, guys? So much of the hospital has actually been demolished, and all that remains are the tunnels, the cemetery, and the outer shell of the administrative building, and blocks D and G. Number two, Lizzy Borden's house, Fall River. I have vaguely heard about this house. I'm kidding. That's sarcasm. We have actually been there. It's a cool house. Yes, we've been there. So everyone knows the story of Lizzy Borden. This is a seemingly ordinary house, which is now a themed bed and breakfast. Lizzy Borden is alleged to have brutally murdered her father and stepmother. However, 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 I lost track where I was at. However, she was okay. Hold on for 1 second here. Okay, this one's gonna be a little bit longer today, but I don't care. So Lizzy Borden poem. Okay, so there's actually more. There's actually more to it. Um, there's actually more. The poem that we all know and love is Lizzy Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she has saw what she has done, she gave her father 41. But here it is though. So the facts. First of the poem. The rhyme is factually inaccurate. Abby was struck 19 times, but still, I mean, come on, seriously, not 40, and Andrew was hit 10 to 11, not 41, making a total around 29 blows rather than 81. At this point, it doesn't make a fucking difference, right? One whack of the axe, and you're pretty much done. Okay. Um, there's also one more. There's actually an extra one. There's actually a extra one. Um, so it says, okay, so we had Lizzy Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks, but actually her stepmother. When she saw what she has done, she gave her father 41. Lizzy Borden got away for her crimes she did not pay. Yeah. So anyways, the there you go. There you go. So ultimately however, she was ultimately acquitted of the crime despite the general consensus that she was in fact guilty. It is no surprise that her former home and the scene of the horrific double murder is now considered to be one of the most haunted places. But again, we went there and we didn't experience anything. But again, as you know, that's not always the case. You don't always see stuff when you go to places like this. Like I'll get case in point. We had a good night at Randolph County Asylum last month. Had a really good night. So I got an apparition on video. Yes, it is. We got some good thermal imaging hits. We got some good pictures. I'm still looking at listening to the EVPs. So we had a good night. So guess who dared to spend the night in Lizzy Borden's house? Say that they have been woken in the night by the sound of a woman weeping softly to herself. Other guests have witnessed shoes moving across the floor without being touched. Some have even encountered the apparition of an older lady who tries to tuck them in bed at night. It is believed that Abby and Andrew Borden, who are the two murder victims, are still in the house, and some visiting psychics have also picked up on Lizzy herself. The house has hosted a number of paranormal television shows. And this is what pisses me off. Ghost Adventures were there, right? No. I'm sorry. Uh, Ghost Hunters were there. Jason and Grant and all those assholes. I mean, paranormal investigators. And they probably, I'm assuming that they paid money to, close the house, for the whole week or however many, how long they were actually there. So they paid money, I am sure. Well, they were reviewing the evidence, and it was Grant, Jason, and Steve Gonzalez was asshat. But anyways, as you can tell, my opinions of these people are crap. Yeah. Anyways, um, always have been, always will be. So they were reviewing the evidence, and Steve Gonzalez, he goes, "Oh, well, yeah, any place that has a gift shop has to be haunted." And they like all high five each other. Like, dude, what a dick, right? You paid money, they allowed you in, and that's why I'm sure they can't get any other places to investigate because they're slamming these fucking people. I wouldn't let them in. If I owned Lizzy Borden's house after hearing that about, oh, it has a gift shop, it has to be haunted, you're not ever coming back here again. And I have said, if you heard my Arizona one, the Tombstone Theater, I'm sorry, the Tombstone Theater, it's in Tombstone. It is the Birdcage Theater. They have banned Zach for life because he was antagonizing the spirits. And the woman at the gift shop, she said, "Yeah, he antagonizes the spirits. He leaves, and we're still here to pick up his mess." So touche, Birdcage Theater for banning Zach for life. I mean, that could change, but yeah. Okay. So the house has hosted a number of paranormal television shows, and they all have struggled with equipment failures as lights and equipment turn off and on at random in the house. And some of the cameras have been moved or turned off while locked in a room without nobody around. Now here is my story about the Lizzy Borden's house. Okay. Numero uno. The skulls that are in the actual dining room is not theirs. So they are reproductions of the originals. Two, the furniture in the house is not original to the house. So the couch that is in there now is not the one that Andrew Borden was killed on. It was not. All of the furniture, according to our tour guide, all the furniture that was in the house was put in storage. And I believe she said the 1912 hurricane, the water damaged all the furniture. They were in a warehouse, and they had to be all thrown out. And three, which was cool, is we were supposed part of the tour takes you up to the maid, and I forget her name, Maggie, I believe it was, or was Maggie the sister? Anyways, the maid's upstairs in the attic room was closed because they had a leak from the air conditioning unit, so they were making repairs. So she said that we're going to be able to see the basement that is not part of the tour usually. So that was cool. And she pointed out that there was a blood stain, or there was like a stain that you could see that had came through the wood in the actual basement. And she said that there was some people there taking samples of it to see if it was blood, some TV show. So that was cool. So we got to see the basement that no one else saw. So that was cool. Okay, so lastly, we're at numero uno. I'm sure you guys are saying, about damn time, get this guy off the radio here. Or actually off the podcast. See, I'm thinking old school. The Hawthorne Hotel in Salem. Now we've been in Salem too. But Salem, it was fun, but we got there late and shit. So a lot of places was closed. And the following day we had to leave. But yeah, so the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem, Massachusetts has become something of a landmark for visitors since it was built in 1925. And not surprisingly, the hotel has ghost stories. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like so many other buildings in this haunted city, due to the dark and bloody history, which dates back to the witch trials of 1692. That is my spooky voice. There are rumors that this hotel is haunted. Although they have never been confirmed, the TV show Ghost Hunters did an extensive investigation in 2007, but their reports were inconclusive. That's what I'm saying, people. You can't guarantee activity just because it's haunted and you stay there and you don't get nothing. Does not mean that it's not haunted. It just means the spirits were not there or active when you were there. And also, there's also like speculations that the spirits know who you are and what your intentions are. So if you're a TV show and all you're doing is entertainment, paranormal entertainment, and you're doing this shit, and if it's true, the spirits know your intentions, and they're like, "Fuck no, we're not giving these people anything. Come on, honey, we are leaving. We are leaving. Let's get out of this place." I mean, it's possible, it's possible. No one knows for sure. Over the years, guests have reported supposed activity in rooms 325 and 612. Some say that they have seen the apparition of a woman lingering in the corridors, yet others have felt a more active presence in the rooms. Famed author, historian, and ghost hunter Rebecca Pittman, never heard of her before, is, pla- is planning to write a book about the Hawthorne Hotel and its haunting presence in 2017 that will cover some of the stories. Like, who the hell is Rebecca Pittman? I have no idea who she is. Rebecca, oh, come on, seriously? Work with me, Google. Rebecca Pittman. I don't know who the fuck she is, man. Okay, she's wrote about the plantation. Okay, I have been in the Myrtles plantation. So she's a best-selling author. Okay, so what has she wrote? Okay, see, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Is she has history and haunting of the Stanley Hotel, how to start a fox painting a mural, the history of the haunting of Lizzy Bordens. So she goes to these places and writes about them. See, I can do that. I'm retiring this year, dudes. I got 3 months left and I am fucking done. So, yeah. So, okay, but let's see. Let's go, no, let's go to Wikipedia. That's where I get my go-to stuff. Yeah, okay, I spelled it wrong. What do you fucking do? He's a best-selling author across capitated history, books, biography. Okay, so I guess she is. Just trying to see now that it matters, but how old she is. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So in a way, she is an author, I guess. I don't know if she's well known or famed. I don't know. It all depends on your idea of famed, I guess, famed author. So anyways, that's it. That's all I got. And I'm sure you guys are saying, get off there, dude. You talk too much. So anyways, thank you for listening this week. This upcoming week, I think it's Michigan, my home state, baby. I got some stories for you all. And so, yep, so thank you for listening again. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is not the only list, not the definite list or anyone's list. It's just randomly picked. And if you've been in these places and you've experienced stuff, let me know. I'm curious. I am genuinely interested in your experiences. So shoot me a comment, shoot me an email, whatever your Jesus Christ. Um, preferred, your preferred way of communicating. There we go. God, these words this morning are not coming to me easy. So again, thank you. Again, you have to be more afraid of the living than you do of the dead. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Stay away from the light, unless that's your thing. Then knock yourself out and be kind to each other. I guess would be my final adios kind of thing. So again, thank you, and until we meet again, bye bye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.